Hello and welcome to my Castlevania marathon. I'm kicking it off with a speedrun of the first game, Castlevania 1. Bit of a reputation, this game. It is difficult to play casually, very difficult. Primarily due to the controls. If you've never played it, it's very stiff, the way that it's set up. Your jump is set, you can't move once you're in the air. If you get hit, you're going to go flying backwards, usually into a pit or another enemy or some other hazard. Yeah, it's not easy, but I do think speedrunning the game is easier than playing it casually. Because you know all the little tricks and things you can do to make it easy for yourself. And we're off. Okay, so the first little trick coming up in this room. Depending on where you're standing and what you do, I think it's frame count on each room. You'll get different drops, different items, things like that. And we can use that to manipulate drops like that. So we've got the stopwatch. And also manipulate the height of this bat so that I can get a boost off it. Like that. That was seriously high. I don't think any higher than that I probably wouldn't have made it. But that's the first little trick done. The rest of the levels very straightforward, but like a lot of speedruns, it's kind of scripted, so you have a set sequence of movements, and attacks. If you kind of get off that script, things can go pretty wrong pretty quick. That was pretty decent. You usually get punished for mashing the A button like the B button like that. It means the whip won't come out, at optimal speed, but I just mashed as quick as I could there and hoped for the best, and got lucky. So that's stage 1, nice and easy. There is a quicker strat for that bat boss, but I just can't do it. Stage 2. Stopwatch these fellas. Walk on by. As I said before, a lot of the jumps in this level particularly are in very specific places to obviously make things as quick as possible, but it makes things consistent, you know where you're going. And again, if you don't do what you're supposed to be doing at the right time, it can go wrong real quick. Grab one extra heart there that I'm going to need. Hearts are important because obviously they fuel your sub-weapons, but also it affects items that will drop. So if I go over 8 hearts, I'm going to get the big whip to drop, which I don't want yet. And also they count against you at the end of the level when the score counts. After you kill the boss and collect the orb, the hearts will count down quite slowly onto your score, and obviously that costs time. We don't want that. So the idea is to get to the end with 0, ideally. Obviously you've got to keep what you actually need. But yeah, that's why. So inventory management, like heart management, is pretty important part of the run. Just grab the double shot there. That's going to let me chuck 2 holy waters at once. That's what we're going to need for the boss. Burning 1 holy water there. Hey, Medusa. Bye, Medusa. Job done. That's stage 2. 0 heart, so it's not going to cost us any time. Don't think I managed it on all of the levels, but I did it for most of them. Stage 3. So this is where the run kind of begins. Honestly, this level is like a graveyard for speedruns. Things can go wrong here. A little bit of RNG with your enemy patterns and stuff. I mean, there are ways to cope with them all, but yeah, things can go wrong here. It is hard. It starts to get tricky now. From about here onwards, yeah, it's a bit of a maul. So I was supposed to whip that skeleton, which is why he's now decided he's going to jump all over the place. I got lucky there. Just wing it, and where did that skeleton come from? I spent a good bit of time practicing this level, and I've never ever seen that skeleton just fucking pop out of nowhere like that. That was weird. Just chucking an axe there, obviously to keep my hearts down. I'm going to keep those under control. So the next couple of screens have got a couple of tricks that are reliant on your frame count, your height there. Just getting that invincibility to drop is tricky. It is intentional, but in practice I'd probably make it 1 time out of 10, so I was quite happy to get that because it does make that screen easy. And this next screen, we want to stop a total of 3 times, which will cost us 66 frames, but that magic number just happens to be what we need to manipulate the boss pattern into something very quick and easy. So that was 1 stop, that's 2. This screen's absolutely horrible to do casually. That's 3, so I actually did it, which I'm quite happy about. So I should be able to kill this boss in like 1 or 2 hits to be quicker, but you could get him in 1. I got the pattern, down you go, that's the end of him. So these first 3 stages have gone pretty well for me. Got, 95% of the strats I was going for, which is the main thing. And there are always quicker ways to do things, but not for me. Stage 4. So the beginning part of this level is dedicated mostly to trying to perform cave skip, which is to go over the top of the screen a little bit later in the level. So again, those 3 whip strikes, I'm kind of measuring out, frames, so that I don't have to let go of forwards, ideally, for the rest of this screen. So I already know I've screwed it up because I froze the fishman back there a little bit early. So I've missed cave skip. I wanted to go over the top of here instead of underneath, because down here you've got to wait. Probably cost me, I don't know, 10 or 12 seconds, something like that. Would have been nice to get, but that's how it goes. That was the whip upgrade I just collected there, you couldn't see, but that's the long whip, I now have it. So we don't need to worry too much about hearts now. Still want to keep them down, because we don't want too many at the end. This screen is very scripted. I've screwed it up already, so we want it to lose no frames. We want it to never have to stop. So I've made a right old mess of this, but another reason I'm being quite cautious going forward is because if one of these guys decides he's going to drop a sub-weapon, like an axe, it gets rid of my holy water and I'm going to really struggle until I can regain it on the next level, so just being a little bit cautious. It's a shame because that does look great when you get it right. I can do it quicker than that, but I'm happy just to get through with all my health, to be honest, although I have far too many hearts. And no real place to get rid of them, because if you jump here, you get stuck in the roof. If you chuck it on the floor, you're going to stop, so I want to burn a couple. Here, there's 1. I think I only need 2 for the boss, so not too many. I'll chuck some bonus ones on there for him. It's the rare standing Dr. Jones. Yeah, I got 2 hearts here, so you watch, it'll take, I don't know, a second, maybe, yeah, to count them down, which is not, too bad, but the shame of it. Stage 5, so if you're going through the game normally, this is where it starts to get tricky. You've got to keep an eye on your health in the speedrun here. You want to take 4 damage boosts through this level. That was 1, and I screwed it up. So you got to keep, I don't know why I did that. You got to keep an eye on your health. So I've now taken an extra hit that I didn't want to. So I'm going to skip the damage boost on this next screen. I would normally just jump onto that bone and skip to the top, but I'm going to take the slow way up instead. So yeah, so at this point I would normally have half health. I'm back on track health-wise to do the rest of my damage boost through the level and still make it out alive. Shout outs to the soundtrack for this game. I haven't mentioned it yet, but it is really good for its time, and I love a bit of chiptune. Here's the 3rd damage boost. Got that one. We're still okay for health. Could probably do with another heart, maybe 2. There we go. Out of the way. There's a sub-weapon drop back there. Okay. So I was supposed to jump and throw that holy water and just walk straight through the guy, and I screwed it up and took a fuck ton of damage that I didn't need to. So that was a little bit dicey. That could have been the end right there. It didn't cost me any time in terms of actually getting past that guy, but it is going to cost me time now that I have too little health to run past the next guy, so could have done without that. Probably cost me 5 or 6 seconds maybe. Yeah, normally we would just walk straight into this guy and just leave, but I had to stand and kill him instead because I've got no health. There is actually some health behind that staircase there, but I thought, fuck it, just go for it. This is the infamous kind of room of death that, again, is very difficult if you take your time with it. If you just blast through like that, you take no damage at all. It's an illusion. It's not that difficult. This guy is. But again, strategy, holy waters, you're dead. That boss is an absolute nightmare to do if you let him move from that spot, so that was a cheeky little kill on death. Skeletor, I mean. And we're on to the final stage, just like that. This first screen is framey. I'm looking to lose no frames whatsoever on this first section so that I can get the bats where I want them and they don't fuck me up with their fireballs and stuff, so must not stop. Stopwatch back. That fireball is too low. Christ, we really didn't want that, but managed to wing it, got away with that one. Neat little damage boost to get up. There's another one we can do here. Now, I took my time with this because I was sort of just hoping to finish out the run. I didn't want to take any risks from this point onwards. We are very close to the boss, so I'm walking that way to try and manipulate the skeleton to come near me, but he didn't want to play, and I could have done with making that jump, but cost me time, but at least I got through. That flea man is also not where I expected him to be or come from, but that worked out okay. Got kind of lucky with a lot of the mistakes that I made here, to be fair. I'm gonna get through the clock tower quite easily. There we go. So we're doing some framey stuff again on the next screen, where I have to get to Drac without losing any frames in order to manipulate his pattern to make him easier. We want the cross. We want a few more hearts. So the way that I just approached this room, I think I've got it right, and I should have the pattern that I want. That's a good start. So he likes to spawn on top of you, which is why I move around when he disappears. He didn't this time. I was lucky to get that last whip strike there. That was decent. I mean, was that what, 3 cycles, 4 cycles? Pretty good for me. And then all we got left is the Cookie Monster. He's not too much of a threat if you have the Holy Water. He can jump around all over the place, but he can't really do much else. Just has a shit ton of health. There are quicker ways of doing this. I could be doing 3 whip strikes instead of 2. I'm just not quick enough, so I'll settle for that. And I'm happy to have just finished the run. Go me. 12:48 is not a terrible time. I think, I want to say the world record is it 11 something? So yeah, not terrible. It's enough to be where I normally am on leaderboards, which is somewhere just above the middle. So yeah, I don't really care. I'm just happy to have finished it, and I can kick off and continue with my marathon. So I'll be doing Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, in the next couple of days. So that'll be next. And then I think after that will be one of the Game Boy titles, which I'm not looking forward to, but I'm getting through them all, so that's next. There'll be a couple of other speedruns as well. I'm looking at doing Symphony of the Night, which I've learned twice but never actually done, so that's doable. I've already done Castlevania 4, I'll be redoing that with some commentary in a couple of days. And that's all about that. Peace.